Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paula's Soapbox Live. My guest today has been involved in 3 different web series. She is currently working on her 4th. It's called Wait, and that is Weight. She also played Andrea Floyd on General Hospital, and I'm sure most of you will remember her work from As the World Turns. For almost 2 decades, she played the part of Lily Walsh Snyder, and for 4 of those years, she also played Lily's twin sister, Rose D'Angelo. And she just happened to pick up a few Emmys along the way, including one for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. Take a look.
This is Martha Byrne's first win and first nomination in this category. She began playing the role of Lily Walsh Snyder on As the World Turns in 1985. In 1987, Martha previously won the Emmy for Outstanding Younger Actress.
Hi, everybody! Hello, New York! I cannot believe I'm standing up here right now. I'm very nervous. Excuse me. Chris Goutman, I would not be standing here without your belief in me and your leadership and your friendship. Thank you. Hogan Sheffer, Leah Lehman, Carolyn Culleton, all our Emmy Award-winning writing team. Thank you. Our directors. Amazing, amazing crew out in Brooklyn. The best people you could ever work with. Absolutely the best. Lisa Brown, Elizabeth Hubbard, Tony Masante, John Hensley. Thank you for 15 years of sexual tension. Paul Layden, my new best friend on As the World Turns. Thank you. Oh, God, my husband and my son. I love you guys so much. You're the best. My last thing I want to say is I dedicate this to my parents. Without everything that you sacrificed for me, the little girl who came to you at 9 years old and said, I want to be on Broadway, and you just said, let's go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your love and support. This is for you and everybody in New York.
Please welcome to the show, actress Martha Byrne.
Hi, thanks for showing me that. I'm already crying.
Oh, no. I didn't mean to make you cry.
A good cry. There's a good cries and a bad cry.
See it, though, and hear it, so that's good.
Yes. Yeah, it takes you right back, for sure.
So what goes through your mind when you watch something like that?
It feels like a different time. I miss that. I miss that camaraderie that we had at that time when the show was really on a hot streak. And you know when it's good. And we were having a good couple of years. Hogan Sheffer really turned everything around for the show. And I've been on the show. I'd been on the show when we had terrible years where we didn't get any nominations, or there was one year when I was the only nominee for the entire show. And our tables were on the way back, and nobody really cared about As the World Turns.
Yeah. And
it's wonderful to have been a part of it at a time when it was that good. And I miss those. I miss that. You miss the. Do you miss the show? The show is the show, but you miss that. How can you? Where else do you have 250 people in one building who get along and gel so well that millions of people see it and recognize it, that it's good? It's very rare. And I don't think every soap opera was like that either. And I don't think to this day that bond, those kind of friendships between the head writer, the executive producer, down to anybody, every actor, every day player, every the whole group were a part of the same team. There was us. It wasn't me, you. it was all of us together. So that's what it makes it. My father has since passed, seeing that. So that's what I was crying. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, but
I didn't mean to cry.
That's a good memory. That's a good memory because he was there, and
right.
And it's somebody was talking about. I was just watching. I don't know who I was talking about memories, and that their parent was there for them at that time. I'll remember it, and I was thinking about my dad too, like to be able to have been a part of that and to see that happen in Radio City with your daughter on stage. That's like, I think I understand the enormity. I understood the enormity of it then, but to look back, then life is much more simple now, and that's fine. It's beautiful, but that time in my life was tremendous, and I appreciated it then. Thank God I wasn't like, oh, the Emmys, oh,
right.
So the Emmys. I'm not going this year. Too busy with something else. Like it was like we were all. No one should ever say, oh, the Emmys.
Yeah, don't take anything for granted.
Exactly, and I never did. I never, ever. Thank you, God, that I never did.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, so that's what it makes me think of. Well, good things.
Yeah.
Great times. Yeah.
Did you watch the Emmys this year when they were streaming online?
I just saw a little bit of the train wreck from the pre-show.
Yeah.
Train wreck. Yeah. I kind of watched that with like this, like you
cringeworthy.
Kind of go, oh, whoa, oh.
Yeah.
It brought all kinds of emotions. Yeah. Not many of them good, but no, I don't really watch it. I was kind of watching on Twitter. I kind of enjoy the Twitter feedback. I think
I found that more entertaining than the actual.
Oh my gosh, some of the one-liners from some of the bloggers and such are just fantastic.
Right.
We can't take ourselves too seriously.
Well, and I was right in there with it, so.
Yeah, you can't, listen, we're entertainers. This is what we do. And we live in a bubble when we're on these shows that, like, you got to laugh at yourself and kind of not take it too seriously. I mean, it can be offensive when you work so hard and it's like people don't know what you do and they don't understand where they are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once you realize that, you kind of go, okay, that's what we're doing. All right, let me give it back to someone as quickly as they're giving it to me. But no, I don't watch. I watch to see, like, I want to see my Mora and see how she's dressed. She's looking beautiful and gorgeous as always.
She always looks gorgeous, yeah.
Gorgeous. So it's nice to see some old friends, and that's kind of why I watch it now, to see like how everybody's doing, and but no, it's not really my world anymore, but still have some friends there.
Well, speaking of some of your former co-stars, I interviewed Yvonne Perry last year.
Okay, so yes,
I got to talk with her a little bit, yeah. So going back to As the World Turns, what was it like during that time period where you had to play both Lily and Rose?
Oh, it was amazing. It was fun and challenging, and when they first brought on Rose, people kind of the fans were amazing. I have to say the fans were on board no matter what, which I totally appreciated because I needed some time to work it out. And Hogan came on. After Rose he was writing, but he wasn't the head writer at the time. And once Hogan decided that Iva had twins, everything changed, and it wasn't just some look-alike character. That changed everything. It was an amazing time. It was. I'm never one to fear anything ever, and I wasn't afraid of anything. I knew this was going to be a challenge, and I needed it. I was like, Lily needed something, and the character there needed to be something that had to happen that was major for Lily to stay on the canvas, because I had done pretty much everything as that character, and that was it. And it was 4 years, and it was an amazing run, and I have Paul Layden to play with, and so many wonderful people, and Rose got to work with all these other characters, which I'd never worked with really Colleen before. Colleen Zank, that Rose-Barbara relationship was great. And Ann Sayer, who I love more than anything.
She was so entertaining. Everyone loved her on the show.
Great. She's still great. just
Yeah.
we had so much fun, and I think that's you could see it. If you feel it, the audience feels it. And I got to work with Kelly Hensley, and I got to work with Maura, who I never got to work with as Lily. I didn't get to work with those characters as much, very little. So it opened up so many doors for me, and with the canvas of the show. And I think Rose was kind of the voice of what other people were thinking in the town. So it was a great character to play. It was great. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, she was a fun character, and watching her with Mitzi. It was a total departure from Lily, and it was fun to see that contrast.
So you can understand fun to play. For me,
exactly.
For so long, and the same Will, Lily, and Holden get back together storyline to do something different I was like eating it up because it was fun.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite storyline from your time on the show?
I really liked when Orlena and Damien had Lily trapped in Malta.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with that because I loved Paolo Saganti. I love him. And Claire Bloom and Nick Coster. Those were my co-stars.
Mm-hmm.
We had the best time, and we laughed more than anything. With that crew, it was laughter all the time. And I loved the story when Lily and Holden went away to Wyoming together, and they were with Grace and Logan and Kelly Bishop. And that was a great summer because I was in high school, and there's so many things going on in my life that I remember. And I think anything with Elizabeth Hubbard was amazing. Every day working with her was perfection.
Yeah.
But I love the Snyder Farm too. That was where I felt the most home. That kitchen was to me the pinnacle of what the show could be. That was what Doug Marlin wanted. That was his backdrop. That was what he brought to the stage. So I loved being in there. And inside the stairway going up, I was thinking about this the other day because I was somewhere and they had the same kind of, it was an open house somewhere close by. And it was an old house from like the 1800s. And they had a back staircase, which was exactly like the Snyder kitchen staircase. Exactly the same color, everything. But in the Snyder kitchen set, we would write things on the wall that I can't repeat. Really disgusting, really funny pictures, drawings of things, and it was all at the wall. And it was, anytime you go back there, you think, what am I going to see today? What ridiculous, inappropriate something am I going to see? So it brought back a nice memory of what we would do up in that staircase. There was that staircase didn't go anywhere, so we would sit there and just talk and draw pictures. And Lily was here. I mean, it was silly, but fun.
Well, I don't know if this is. I was a fan of the show. I grew up watching the show, and I don't know if this was my favorite storyline, but it's certainly one that sticks out in my mind. It's the spa storyline. Oh. And you and Maura and Kelly, all three of you were pregnant at the same time during the storyline, correct?
Yes, we were. And Hogan Shefford wanted to kill each one of us.
Yeah, I bet.
I won't tell you what he said because I can't repeat it. But yeah, it was Maura, Kelly, then I got pregnant. Then I was the third pregnancy. But I was telling my kids that I had a scene where I was buried alive in a coffin, in a real coffin in the ground where people were throwing dirt on me as Rose. And I had to climb out from the ground. And my reaction, I can't find the clip because I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. If anybody finds it, let me know because
we definitely need to keep a lookout for that.
Please, because I was in the coffin. I was in there, and
so it was an actual coffin then.
It was an actual coffin, and dirt was. I could hear the dirt being thrown on top of me. But we could just get away with that whole storyline. We could be as ridiculous and as possible, and there were no boundaries. And me as Rose was going completely off her.
Right.
So it was, and they're out of it, and Kelly's out of it, and Maura's all out of it. So I was as Rose trying to snap them together. We had a great time.
I think that may be why it sticks out in my mind so much because you could tell that you were having fun.
Yeah,
doing that.
We did.
So I think there must have been something in the water, though, if all three of you got pregnant at the same time or around the same time.
It's contagious in that studio, It's becomes like, you just start thinking, oh, I want another baby, and then you think about it, and you have a baby, and then you're pregnant. It was like, oh, they're having, oh, I would love to have another baby.
Right.
I can have another baby now. So baby galore. It was, and I remember Hunt Block. He was playing Craig at the time, and I brought Max in, who was my middle child, and he threw up all over Hunt Block's suit, which is a fond memory that I have. And if you know Hunt, you appreciate the reaction that he had when that happened. He has children, so he understood.
Right.
But, yeah, but it was a family environment where you could bring your kids if you chose to do that, and our kids all grew up together on that set pretty much, and then it's just, again, a part of your life that's kind of in this space that ends, and it's like college, but it's different. It's not. It's 15 years. It's babies and marriages and death and 9/11 and pregnancies and losing pregnancies and marriages that fall apart and like everything that you could possibly imagine magnified under one roof.
Yeah.
College is college. This is like real life stuff. And strangely enough, 99% of the time everything worked well until it didn't. But that's kind of how it was. When it was good, it was perfection.
Yeah. And when it was good, like you said, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And, I think the audience can tell when a show is at the top of their game. So
fans are so smart. They get it. They've seen it. They know when things aren't right and what characters wouldn't do and what they wouldn't say. And trust me, behind the scenes, we would do the same thing. Elizabeth Hubbard would go, she wouldn't say that. She would never do that. And we would fight our cause as often as we could. We didn't win all the time, but we would, when it was wrong, we did speak up and do our best to make it right.
Yeah, as much as you could. Yeah. Well, you, like you said, you essentially grew up on this show, and I know that you filmed your first love scene before your 18th birthday.
True.
And there was some controversy. I don't remember it, and I probably was not aware of it anyway because we didn't have all the social media and everything. But did that affect you, having that kind of controversy going on at that young age?
I had no idea what was going on. I know I was kissing Brian Bloom and I was kissing John Hensley, and I had no problem with that.
Right.
Either way. In real life, I was much more inexperienced. Let's leave it at that. But it didn't even occur to me that it was an issue because it made sense story-wise. I mean, they were living together, like Lily and Dusty were living together, and I was like 17 or something. But you didn't think about that at the time. I don't remember what was going on. I just know I was getting a lot of fan mail, and I guess that means it was well received, at least by the younger people.
Yeah. Well, not having the internet and social media and all that, I'm sure made a big difference. So,
and I think that
everything.
now I think with John Hensley being, at the time I was 15 or 16 and he was 20. That it didn't. I guess on camera now that I look at it, I think, oh, I was really young, but I didn't think I was young. What 15-year-old thinks they're young?
Yeah.
You think we're all old and worldly But I was in Catholic school and would wear my Catholic school uniform to work and become Lily. That was my real life was Catholic school and uniforms and heavy-duty structure, and then I went to go play and be Lily. And so I really did have the best of everything.
Yeah, really. It sounds like it.
Fun.
Well, I know you left the show a few years before it actually ended.
Yes.
So did you get to keep anything from your time on the show?
The only thing I wanted, which I think has been put in a wood chipper, was my carved cat that Holden had given Lily.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I wanted, but apparently it's disappeared. I have a conspiracy theory about it. But I do have the wedding ring. I have Lily and Holden's wedding ring that Kelly Hensley happened to find in her bag and gave it to me. I kept a couple of my clothes. I didn't really take anything from the set because I was being, the show was continuing. The only thing I really wanted was the cat, and everybody looked for it. The crew guys searched high. I know it's been catnapped. I think.
Catnapped. Yeah.
Catnapped, thrown in a shredder somewhere. Just out of spite. I don't know. But no, I don't have. There were 2 carved cats. The original and then the second one literally sat on my desk in Lily's house for years. And I did make this comment once. I said, when that cat disappears, I know it's over. And it was weird because then Lily's set was gone, and I'm like, well, but where's the... And I'm like, one by one, things started disappearing, and I thought, this is not a good sign. But the cat always ended up appearing somewhere, always ended up having a place in Lily's bedroom or somewhere. So if it's in Brooklyn Studios somewhere, if anybody sees it, it's because Holden was a whittler, as we know. He liked to whittle.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's on eBay.
Maybe it is. But I have to say, when I went to Amsterdam and I went to a show, we did a show there, and the fan gave me this beautiful carved cat. And I thought, and it's been replaced with this beautiful cat. So at least I have one from a fan who got it, who understood that it was important to the character of Lily, and gave me this gorgeous carved cat. So I still have one.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I kept it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a nice gift.
Sure was.
Okay, we're going to switch gears here. You recently produced a short film called Bye Bye Sally.
I did.
Written and directed by Paul Layden, and it stars, as you mentioned earlier, about Paolo Saganti.
Yes.
So how did you become involved in that?
Paul Layden called me and said, would you produce this short? Because he needed to direct something. He had written a film that John Cusack had starred in, and he wanted to direct, and he needed some experience in that department. Not from he had the experience, but other people needed to see his talent as a director. And I really wanted to start producing. So that's kind of how it came to be. I was really on the sidelines just cheerleading. I had absolutely nothing to do with anything creative with the project because I knew that it was in good hands, and it really wasn't my role. I just wanted to learn more about it. So I was a producer writing a check to help produce it, but that was fine. I think you have to, education costs. That's my mom always says that, if you want to learn, it's going to cost something. So I learned a lot. And Paul went on to direct Cleaners and films and come back to me with Maura West. He just did that film, and so obviously it worked. I think the film is great. Paolo's fantastic in it.
Yeah. It's very creepy, but it is a good film.
Yeah.
I watched it. Yeah, so it's everyone needs to check it out. So do you have plans to work with either of them at any time in the future?
Anytime Paul asks me to I would come. I think we're trying to find a project together that we can work on together. He's much busier than I am. He's working constantly, and he's out of the country. He was in Puerto Rico doing Cleaners' second season for 3 months. We missed each other in California when I was out there doing Wait, but his producer, Ann Clements, who produced Cleaners and produced Bye Bye Sally, produced Wait as well. So we're getting closer to working together again. But Maura West's daughter is in Wait.
Right,
And Scott came to the set, and I'd like to work with people. Like, I like to see my people and give them work when I have opportunity to employ them if I can. And again, these are small projects at this point, but I hope to get to a position where I have power to employ as many people as possible. Why not? I would love that.
So is there anyone from As the World Turns that you haven't worked with yet that you would really like to in the future? I know that Trent Dawson is in Wait, but
Trent Dawson's in Wait, but I would love to get together with Elizabeth Hubbard and do something. We've been speaking about it and trying to find something to do together.
Right.
That makes sense that the fans might want to see. She doesn't. The web series thing doesn't. She doesn't do the tweets. She doesn't do the Twitter.
Right.
She doesn't do the Facebook. She doesn't do any of that world. So it's very foreign to her, and that's fine. She doesn't need to know. It's too much information. She doesn't. I'm just going to ask her to show up somewhere, or send her a script and say, show up here and let's work together.
Right.
But we'll find something. I miss her work. I miss working with her and her creative brain on a daily basis.
Well, the fans miss her too, and I'm sure that everyone would love to see the two of you working on something together. And I have a feeling if she was on social media, she would be bombarded. So
I agree. I told her that. Like, just to hear her her philosophy about, I don't know, unicorns. I mean, who cares what she talks about? Like, she's got a theory on everything, and I don't do politics. I don't talk about, but she's the only person that I have a tremendous amount of respect when it comes to the world, because she's been around the world. She's seen everything, and she's not just an actor sitting behind their $1 million mansion with their opinions. She's actually been in the Sudan. She's traveled the world. So for me, she's probably the best person to even discuss any world topic at length, and I really appreciate that. My father was like that too. My father wasn't a world traveler, but he was full of knowledge, and my mother as well, extremely smart. So, being around those kind of people makes you a smarter person and educated. But with Elizabeth, she's just one of a kind. She is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, everyone loves her.
Yeah, I'll tell her that you said hello.
Yeah, tell her. Please tell her I said hello.
I'm going up to her house next week, so maybe I can do like a video, something with her, and
post it for the fans or something. Yeah, that would be good.
I will.
Okay, so tell me what's going on with your web series Gotham and Launch TV Network.
Okay, so it's been airing. It's going to be airing again on Launch TV starting in September. We took all the episodes and put them together as an hour pilot, and we were constantly getting offers as far as what to do with the next episodes, meaning people come to the table with offers and money, and then the money doesn't come through or something falls through, and this is just the way this has been working for us with Gotham. Now with Gotham, the series coming on, the Batman show, we're going to have to rename the show, but I feel like the tides are turning with that, meaning serial drama online, there's so many more opportunities to air these shows. So we're still working on it. We've written 13 half-hour episodes. I'm really happy with them. We might do 6. We might do 13. We're trying to figure out what to do. But it has taken a lot longer than I had hoped. But it's just the way of the business. It's like you don't do that, something else comes up, or just you have to deal with what's on the table at the time. So we'll see where it goes. But Launch TV it's been airing. It's great to see on Facebook. I saw Gotham on my TV on channel X, Y, and Z, and part of the country, and so it's not on everywhere in the country, but it has been airing, and it will air again starting in September. And I think they'll put up the channels. I'll put it up on my Facebook page when they come out.
Okay.
So it's great.
Okay, I'll repost that then. Yeah,
if you've seen it, it still helps us if you watch it and you call your station and say, I just saw Gotham, I'd love to see more episodes, because people pay attention to that. They'll give us feedback, and then it leads to more. So that, and who knows? Who knows? We don't know.
So, okay, you posted on Facebook about your film Praying for Mercy. So has it been released yet, or?
Not released yet. It'll be on pay-per-view starting in October. They don't have a release date yet, but I will post that when it comes out.
Yeah.
And it's very dark, so I'm warning you ahead of time.
Right.
Very dark, and I'm shooting another film starting next week called Smoke in a Bottle, which is also very dark. I haven't started really. I play a recovering alcoholic who has her eye on a 25-year-old, also recovering alcoholic. It's
a lighthearted kind of a thing.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, it's one of those things that to prepare for.
Right.
You have to go there, and I love going there. I love that process as an actor. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
That's why doing Wait was so funny, and shooting that was the opposite of all these other things.
Right. Nice break from all the darkness and the heavy.
Yeah. I love the heavy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Crisis was one of the best jobs I've ever had, and it was a great role to dig into. And I had a fantastic director, Fred Keller, who also directed Wait as well. So Fred for directing me in Crisis, and then directing Wait as a comedy. Comedy's a lot harder, believe it or not, than drama. It's a lot harder to be funny than to make people feel pain. So I'm very happy with how Wait came out. I've seen the final version. I think it's probably one of the things I'm most proud of in my life as far as my work. It's probably one of the most challenging because funny is hard, but I'm really proud of it. I think people are really going to take to it. They're either going to like my character, they're either going to watch the journey of my character and see what happens to her, or they're not. And it's all on my shoulders, and I'm happy to have that responsibility. And I think people will attach to her as I did as a character. I loved the character, and I was. I know you'll see. It's really Darren Strauss, who was the creator of Wait, did a fabulous job writing it. So all I had to do was add extra flavors and colors. If you have good writing on the page, that's you're 90% there, and then
Mhm.
it's our job to come in and actually make it work and add more levels to it. And we did that. I really think we achieved that with the direction and the actors. The cast is phenomenal. Really
Yeah,
great.
I've been keeping up with the updates and then posting the updates of the cast.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
And it looks like a really great cast, and I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Thank you.
But listening to you talk about it, it kind of reaffirms something I was going to ask you about the show. You've done a couple of different web series, and this one is obviously very special
Yeah.
to you.
Yes, it is. It's you know when you get it. You know when you do something that has the fairy dust on it. You just
Yeah.
know something is. When I read the script a few years ago. I read the pilot script of Wait, and I laughed out loud. It's really hard to make me laugh when I read something.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. Also, it's very hard to surprise me after being in this business for 35 years. And I just knew that it had potential to be successful. I read a script one of Paul Layden's scripts that he had written, and I called him up and I said, "This is a hit. I don't know why." I said, "But what you've written here, I've never seen it before, and it just you just know it, like you just feel it, and I feel like the film I'm going to be doing next week has the potential also to send a message and have an atypical storytelling method that people will identify with. Hopefully, that's my job now. Now it's in my hands,
Yeah.
and I like that responsibility. And I think and one of my niece said to me, would you change anything after you've seen it now and you worked on it? And I said, I wouldn't change a thing. And I think I've never said that in my entire life. Where I
Yeah.
wouldn't change anything that I did in the performance. Not because I'm so freaking great. It's just that no, it's there.
You're
It's
happy with it.
There's nothing more to do. We've done it.
Mhm.
You can't do any more. If you did any more, you'd be overacting. If you did any less, it wouldn't be enough. It just fit in the pocket of right. And that's the director and the editor and Darren. Those are the three people that can make your performance at the end even better. So I've never said that. I've never once said that. And I don't know. It just happened. It just came together.
Well, and you've already shot the pilot. Have you shot anything beyond that?
No, we have a Bible. We have the Bible, and based on what Darren has seen in the pilot, she's kind of changed a few things, which is thing. And uh, the wonderful thing is that all the cast said, "Whenever you're ready, I'll be there." They just had such a good time, and they loved the parts that they played, which is so great. But there'll be more, no matter what. There'll be more. No, we have a plan. And we have so many meetings. And I've taken a lot of meetings in my life. I get a lot of meetings, and most of the time they don't turn out to anything. But there's enough buzz around this now, and I think Darren has a strong hold on the online world because that's where she is. That's her space.
Right.
That's not my space. Even though I've done web series and such, I don't understand the level of venues and outlets and advertisers and product placements, and that's Darren's world, and I've done my part, and I'm available if she needs anything from me at this point, but she's very smart and she really knows her stuff, and I trust her, and I feel like the show is in great hands.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it, like I said, and I'm assuming we don't have a air date yet for the
No,
premiere.
but we will soon because October 8th we're having our party. We're having our Wait party for the backers and for the fans, and we've got lots of soap actors coming and get RSVPs every day from other soap actors that are coming. And after October 8th, we'll have a much stronger plan of where this is going. It's hard to say where you'll see it when you have so many opportunities that have come to the table since we even started this process that we can't even answer where it's going to be because there are potentially many places that it could be, which is wonderful. That's what you want,
Yeah.
And we were getting that, and hopefully one of them will come through, or two or three, to give us multi-platforms. It's supposed to, it's billed as a multi-platform show, meaning television, web, broadcast, all these different things, and I know we'll know soon, or have a very strong idea before the party what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So, make sure to keep us all posted. So,
I will, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you have been acting since you were a child.
Yep.
But it was kind of something you started, I want to say kind of like on a whim, because one of your friends got you into it, who is also on Wait.
Allison Smith, right?
Right.
I was one of those kids that just wanted to be I just wanted to be on stage, and Allison Smith was in Evita on Broadway, and there was an article in the paper about her, and I said, I can do that. Allison was also my neighbor. She lived across the street from me. So nothing like a little, if she can do it, I can do it.
Competition.
And then I auditioned with 800 girls in an open call for Annie, and my mother was like, then my grandmother passed away during the audition process, so my mother had two choices. She could stop me from auditioning and take me to the funeral, and I was 9, so my mother had my aunt take me, my dad's sister, and thank God she did that, because my whole life would have been a different direction if she had said no. And if she had said no, I think I would have had a meltdown, because as much as I love my grandmother, and this was a dream, and my grandmother would have wanted me to do that.
Right.
And then I got down to me, Allison Smith, and Tiffany Blake, who was in the show for the lead in Annie. And I got down to my last audition, and I choked a little bit. I got a little nervous, and and I thought, but they gave me a job. They gave me one of the orphans, and Allison was not only was I on Kate and Alley with Allison, and she dated Brian Bloom, and her brother married my cousin. She was in my wedding party, and she's Wait, and so it's like we are sisters. We're playing sisters on Wait. It was very easy to play her sister, because I feel like I am her sister. But we were forever connected with our family. And she was my neighbor. We commuted in every single day together to the city and sang show tunes. And she's just a great friend.
Yeah, and now it's kind of like you've come full circle. Now that she got you into the Broadway thing, and then now you've got her on your show.
I was very surprised that she would even do Wait, because she's been on West Wing. She was a regular on West Wing. She's like, I love the script. She goes, why would I not want to do this? I'm like, well, we can't really pay. We're not really paying much of anything. Or she's like, listen, it's like one day of my life with you acting, and it's a great script, and why would I not want to do this? I'm like, okay. I was thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled that she wanted to do it, because I hold her in such high esteem as an actress. I have so much respect for her. I was just, giddy with happiness that she would do it, because again, these are choices that you make as an actor, that you're going to be doing something. It's a small project, and it's still, we don't know where it's going. It's not West Wing, and it's not, she's had her own series. And she's like, I love the script, and I love you, and you're going to be here, and I want to be a part of it. So we got very lucky.
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun watching the two of you working together, especially given how long you've known each other. And
it's funny.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Let's see. Okay, we've already talked about Wait. You've answered a lot of my questions already, actually.
You're looking at behind me. What's in my house? My St. Jude's plate. I got my grandmother's drawing of Jesus, her painting of Jesus. Jesus is always watching. Anyway, what else is back there? Nothing. I have some Irish dirt. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay. When my father passed away, he had a coffin that was, apparently the wood from Ireland, allegedly. But it did have some beautiful designs and the Celtic cross and all this stuff. And they give you a bottle of Irish dirt that's from Ireland that you're supposed to sprinkle on the coffin, like it's from Ireland, so he gets a little Irish before he goes. But I have it I have a little leftover on my mantle. The dirt, not anything else. But I just found that to be the best it's just funny, and it's great, and that's what's on my mantle back there in the can. There's not much left of it. Every once in a while, I planted a tree for my father outside. I sprinkle a little bit on there just for a little luck. And I know it's a little strange, but
no, I think it's neat. I like
that. With your coffin, you get a can of dirt.
Right.
Why wouldn't you get a can of dirt with the coffin? It's just, it's just my life. What can I tell you? And the Irish always have a sense of humor about everything.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean,
on that subject.
If you don't laugh, sometimes you'll cry. So,
You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. I think that's yeah. I mean, there's so many stories I look back now after my dad passed that I just kept so much humor in it. And because he was such a funny man, and he would appreciate the jokes. He would get the joke. And so when I got that can of dirt, I just thought that was just like fantastic. They give you two, one for the funeral and one for you to take home for your put on your mantle, apparently, because I still have it.
Yeah, because you still have it on your mantle.
Anyway, and I'm surrounded by physics books, my son's homework.
Oh, wow.
This is my dining room is covered with school stuff. That's my life. That pretty much covers it. Jesus portrait, Irish dirt, physics books, Diet Pepsi. And glasses because I can't see anything.
Very normal. This is
very normal.
behind the scenes with Martha Byrne, and it's very
it covers it. That's it.
Well, you've said that you can relate to the character you play on Weight. Her name's Claire, for those who don't know, because of your own issues with body image.
Sure.
So has that been a big issue for you throughout your career?
It never was until I moved to California.
Mm-hmm.
Until I when I was on As the World Turns, when I started, nobody cared what you looked like. It was about your acting ability. It was like, trust.
Which is what it should be.
Yes, but we weren't Young and the Restless. We were As the World Turns, and we were at the farm. It was a whole different style. So until I went to California, I didn't know that I was first of all, I wasn't overweight. It was just like I was 110 pounds or something. I don't know what I was, but I never even thought about it. Mm-hmm. So, and then when I came back to the show in '93, still never thought about it. It never was an issue. I gained a lot of weight when I was pregnant. I gained a lot of weight when I was pregnant. Didn't care, ate whatever I wanted. As far as like, I wasn't going to be like, oh, I'm on a diet when I'm pregnant. I'm not that person.
Right.
But then I had to lose it. I think that, and each time I did it, but it's just always it's always something. It's always there. And for weight, I actually went on a very strict diet for the show and lost 15 pounds for the show.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. I hated every second of it.
Right. Well, dieting is not fun, so.
No, and I think for the character, I really wanted to feel that thing of that I really wanted to understand what it felt like to live like that. Mm-hmm. And in my business, that's the majority of how most actresses live. I mean, they live that lifestyle, which is lots of exercise, a low-calorie diet. That's their life, and my life is 90% real life and 10% acting, not the other way around anymore. So but then I get a job and I have to go, okay, I got to get myself together. I exercise every day, but I love to eat. So I'd never say I have had issues with it, because it's more of a discipline thing with me than it is a physical thing. It's like, oh, I don't feel like it. I don't want to. But then I'm like, all right, but I got to, and I got to do it, and only because I want to feel a certain way or look a certain way. I'm at the point now when you're in your 40s, and I'm not on a soap opera, I'm not in that world. I'm an actress who gets jobs, and I have to decide as the actress what I want to look like for that job, which is wonderful. That's great, and so that's kind of how I live right now, because most of the time I'm really not doing anything other than being a mom and being at home and being a wife, and that's my life. And my acting is very minor part of my world now, so it's not a constant thing. But I was fortunate enough that I didn't grow up. Thank God I didn't grow up on a show where it was like, you need to drop some weight. What? Like, I never heard that ever. Really, I mean, there were comments. Sometimes you get comments from like a certain wardrobe department people or something, or like, it's like, but I had my head on straight, so it didn't affect me. But I saw other women have that issue where the comments would hurt them and cause them to lose too much weight.
Right, when they didn't need to lose weight to begin with anyway.
Yeah, so. It's like, but they're fragile to begin with. When you're an actress, you're fragile. So for me, I was like, I'll do what I'm going to do. I'm like, I can't, I have to feel comfortable with myself. If I don't, and I always said this, if I don't feel comfortable where I am, then I'll do something about it. It's not somebody else's job to tell me what I need to look like for this role, etc. But that's very rare. I was just very confident in my own self that I could do that.
That's really good because, I mean, when you were, what, 15 when you started on As the World Turns, so an impressionable age. So
very. And I was wearing bathing suits on the show, and I was as pale as a ghost and chubby and all of those things, but no one ever said that I was chubby. And no one ever made a comment, or no wardrobe person said, I never had that, that person when I was a kid. As I got older, I did have those experiences, but I was more aware of it when I was older because I saw around me what was going on, and that was that's just part of this whole silly business. That it's so there's so much of that, and that's why I think you see a lot of insecurity and a lot of trouble when it comes to people's psyche and their confidence. And
it seems to be worse for women too than men. So
100%.
That adds a whole other layer to it.
Men have it easy no matter what. I'm sorry. I mean, it takes me an hour to get ready to go out. My husband 10 minutes, and he still looks hot and good. And it's just the way it is. And then on a soap, like, we have all the nice clothes and sometimes the gowns, and we have a lot more work to do in general. It's head to toe.
Everything is,
everything. It's all discussed.
Everything's like life style, like Barbies or something.
We have a lot to discuss. There's hair to discuss. There's makeup to discuss. There's colors. There's all kinds of things that need to be discussed. And again, there's nothing to complain about. It's a great, you just have to keep it in check. You have to keep it in check about what's important and what's not, and be comfortable in your own skin, whatever that means. It's different for everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned Crisis earlier, and I know that was a really good experience for you. Unfortunately, the show has been canceled since you did it, but what did you take away from that most of all?
I took away something really important that I wish I could have done more, which is I went to a place as an actor that I had never tapped into before, personally. Like, I'm sure, maybe performance-wise people saw something, but I was working in a place that I'd never worked in before, and I really liked it, and I wanted to work on it more. I wanted to be able to go to that place more. It built my confidence up about myself as I hate to say primetime actor. It has nothing to do with that. It's about just as an actor getting better and not not using your tricks. We all have them. Every actor has their own stuff. Our box of tricks. And I didn't want to use I wanted to do something completely different, and I didn't know if it was going to be there. I didn't know if it was going to happen. And Fred Keller was an amazing director, and he would just whisper in my ear, and he'd say this, or little things, and thank God I was able to do it. So that's what I took away from it, is it built my confidence, which I really needed. I really needed a confidence boost. I had not worked in a while, and I didn't know what I was doing with my career, if I was ever going to have a career again, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know, so it helped to remind me of that this is what I do for a living. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what I'm good at doing. That I want to be better. But that's really what it did. That was the biggest thing it did for me, was built my confidence up. It was great, and people were so nice, and they were so good to me, and I miss that. Again, it's the camaraderie. It's the camaraderie.
It makes all the difference, if you get along with the people that you're working with, and
you're a guest star. I'm going to move you because I'm losing my battery.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a little tour. There's the diner. all the stuff for my kids' at school.
Oh wow!
And
that brings back memories.
They're not there doing any work. We don't know where they are right now. Hold on, let me put the light on. So I don't know what I'm gonna look like, but and there's the teddy bear, little teddy bear. Yeah. So that's my story.
Yeah.
Let me plug you in.
Okay.
Now, my kids have been very quiet, which either means one of two things.
They're in trouble.
Well, if they're in trouble, there'd be some yelling. But no, maybe my mom has taken them somewhere. Maybe my mom took them out to dinner or something.
Yeah.
No, it's too quiet. Anyway.
Yeah, it is quiet. Okay, so your music. You've recorded several CDs. Any plans to do any more of that in the near future?
Yes, I do. I brought this up before that, once my dad passed, I really haven't had the interest of singing because that was something we really shared together.
Right.
And it was Sheryl Crow. I think it was Sheryl Crow. Nope, it wasn't Sheryl Crow. It was she was just on 60 Minutes on Sunday morning. She sang in the arms of the angel. What's her name? Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan, yeah.
Sarah McLachlan was on, and she was talking about that her father had passed, and that she really had no desire to sing or write, and had no inspiration to do any of those things. And eventually, it took her a few years before she finally was inspired to write and do that. And I don't know if I'm there yet, because I think I have a whole album in me as far as writing about what's gone on in my life since my dad was sick and passed, and like what that process was. But I don't know, and it's like anything else. Until you're ready, you don't do it. Until it's right, until you feel like you need to get it out somehow.
Right. Then
you write, and you sit down and just write and start. And that's what I want it to be, and I think it'll be the best record I do, because it'll be my own, and it'll be whatever I want it to be, and it will be from my experiences and compared to what I've before. I mean, what I did the last time, this is like I've had a lot more life experience that has been difficult, which I think from difficulties you write really cathartic songs, and you write really heartfelt things, and I don't know, but I'm definitely planning on doing it at some point when the power moves me.
When it's right. It's not something that you could force, and it's not something you want to force.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Yeah. I would love to. I would love to get that voice back again. Yeah. Because it helps you heal. At the same time, but you don't want to go there because it's hard, too emotional, and too new. But I definitely, Sarah McLachlan was definitely like, I watched her, I was nodding, going, yeah. Not that I'm anywhere near Sarah McLachlan, believe me. I have this much talent compared to Sarah McLachlan. I don't. No. She's amazing. She's an amazing writer, and she's an amazing. That's her job. She's an artist. She's a singer and artist. That's what she does. The best. I'm just some girl that likes to sing and write silly songs, but hopefully not silly. Hopefully something that will, whatever it is. I think when you write your own music, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks, because it's from your heart.
Right.
If you don't like it, then that's fine. They don't have to like it.
Well, and if it's from your heart, then someone somewhere will identify with it. I mean, that's a given.
Some way.
Right.
And I think the thing about soap operas is that when you act from truth, and you come from a real place, then people identify with you. And I've had people come up to me and be crying. Like one woman was crying, and she was an older woman, and I was at the diner, and she was holding my hand, and she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do without you on the show. And it was like so. Again, who the hell am I? I'm just a girl in the diner having an omelet, but yet whatever I did touched somebody. And Liz Hubbard and I talk about this all the time. We're like, sometimes you feel so small. You feel so small in this world. And I always tell this to Elizabeth. I'm like, Liz, you've touched so many people, and you've entertained millions of people over decades. Yes, we're actors, but we've served a purpose. That's what you want to do in life. To serve a purpose, right?
Right, exactly. And
that's what our purpose is.
Right. Soap operas, you're in people's homes 5 days a week for however many years you stay on the show, and so definitely has an impact somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. Which is really makes you feel good, because you're kind of, when you're on the set, you don't really know, you don't feel it. You don't until you go out and see people, and they come up to you and talk to you, then you really yeah.
So, are you still involved in Showbiz Boot Camp?
I'm not. I haven't done much of that. I've just kind of been so busy. I I have a few clients that have been working as actors, which has been really great, that have come through the school that I have and have now working. One did a pilot for HBO, an actress, and so I have a couple of kids that I work with specifically, but I'm really trying to amp up I work for St. Jude Children's Hospital. I've been on the professional advisory board since 2005, and I go down to Memphis every year and work with the hospital, and I'm trying to like bring that more in the forefront of my life. I feel like I can help more with St. Jude and do more to help, bring just to do whatever I can. So you try to balance everything. You try to do, and when you're not working as an actor most of the time, you try to figure out, well, what am I supposed to do with my energy when I'm not? The kids are in school, so I'm trying to figure all that out. What is it? And St. Jude always comes up to the front with me because of my involvement since I was a kid with the hospital. So we're all trying to figure it out. And then I have a junior in high school, I have a 6th grader, and I have a 3rd grader. Yeah. Take a lot of time. I don't know where they are right now. Apparently they're gone. Helping out in the street. I'm totally kidding, but maybe not. They don't get along really well, so I gotta want when they're quiet. I'm wondering what.
You get worried.
I'm not really worried. It's nice and quiet, but I don't know where they have gone.
Well, hopefully they didn't kill each other. So
yeah, they're fine. Nah, I don't think so. I hope they're all right. My husband's out. He's having dinner with his friend. My mom lives with us, and she has her own apartment outside, her own little, escapee pad. So maybe she's out there, maybe making them cookies. I don't know. I'm sure they're fine. They're fine.
Well, you said St. Jude. You've been working with St. Jude since you were a kid. So how did you get started doing that at that young of an age?
My parents, my mom. My mom always gave a portion of my earnings to St. Jude. She loved Danny Thomas. She loved the charity, and really felt like you have to give back when you're given gifts. You give back, and so always gave a portion of my earnings to the hospital. And then when I went back to the show in '93, I had gone through an epiphany in my life where I was like, okay, if I'm on a show again where I have exposure, I want to raise money for the hospital, and I started doing my event every year. And got more involved and more involved, and then they invited me to be a part of the advisory team. And when you're sitting with the CEO of Chili's and Domino's, and you're sitting at a table with the people, the biggest advertising, biggest companies in the world, and your opinion means something, and it makes a difference, and you're raising, you're helping raise $700 million a year, and your opinion matters, and it makes a difference. Then you can sleep at night. Like, to me, to even have the opportunity to have your voice heard in a room like that, and actually people turn to you and respect what you have to say, is wonderful. Because being one of the youngest people on the advisory board, and being a woman, there are not that many women on the advisory board. Mostly the CEOs and et cetera are men. Some aren't. We have a handful that are that are not. But it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you have something to say. And coming from a world of daytime and dealing with fans and dealing with, I know what an audience wants. I know what the consumer wants. They didn't always listen to me, but the bottom line is I do know. And so I feel like I can do more in that arena. I'd like to have I think once my kids get older, I'll have a bigger role. Hopefully, I say company because it is a huge company, St. Jude. But I love it there. I love the people there. I love going there. I love it makes you can't be angry. You can't be upset about anything when you go there, because we have what these kids go through, and what the hospital does, and what Danny Thomas did is so incredible. It really brings you back down to earth. Really makes you understand that one man can make a difference, and one person, anybody can make a difference if they stuck to it. And Danny Thomas, being from an entertainment background, he knew how to work it. He knew how to get people to come to the table. And he used his fame to do that. And again, I'm this much compared to that man. Obviously, I'm a speck on the entertainment industry, but I feel like there's still room to help. So yeah. But thank God my parents did that. I think it's important for it was subconscious when I was a kid, but it stuck with me. It was important to give back. financially, emotionally, volunteering, whatever it is, to thank God, thank parents for
Right.
what they've done.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a worthy cause. And something else that you were involved in is CASA. So
Yes.
do you want to talk about that?
Yes, Bergen County CASA, which helps advocacy, it's an advocacy for children in foster care, where, we hear all these stories about there are too many cases, there's too many things for the Child Protective Services to handle. And CASA, what they do is they take a volunteer, they train them, and they're given one case to look over, meaning they are that child's advocate. They are that child's person to go to in case of a problem. And I wanted to volunteer and become a CASA, again, put that on my list of things to do, but it really is something I want to be more involved in the foster care system and child abuse. And I had thought about going, being a part of missing and exploited children. And I couldn't do it. I still want to help, maybe when I get older, but having children, and I don't know if I can handle, I have to be realistic and say, what can I handle emotionally? Right. My husband was New York City cop, retired, and he's seen everything, and the things that he has seen and told me, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it yet in my life,
Yeah.
Anyway, so with CASA, when I said I'll do something, I'll volunteer, and they're such a small organization, but they're all across the country. There's CASA in every single, you have to look them up. They do wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work to help children in the foster care system. So I'm working with them. I'm the face of Bergen County CASA, and we're doing a lot more with them and trying to raise funds to, again, train people to be advocates for these kids because they have no voice.
Right.
Most of the time. And then you want to be able to visit the child on, surprise visits and pop in and talk to the kids. Are they being taken care of? Are they being fed? Are they happy? What's going on in the household? And there are so many caseworkers to go around. So that's kind of where I'm at with CASA right now. Thank you for asking, because it's a new venture for me, and I really want to help bring awareness to, you can't, seeing a child suffer with a childhood illness or in being neglected and being tossed around because of an adult's whatever. Pick one. Children shouldn't suffer because an adult can't figure it out,
Yeah.
I just don't.
And so many of them get lost in the system, so it's good that there's organizations out there that will hopefully help that.
Yeah, that's what CASA does.
Right.
That's what CASA does. So I'm thrilled to be a part of it. And again, I'd like to do more. And once I figure out, there's no such thing as a schedule in my life at this point.
Yeah.
You're an actor, and you're like, I got a job I have to shoot next week for a week. Okay, what do I do now? Like, how do I figure out everything? But it all works out. It's like I have a great family. My mom, who's now in my refrigerator right now. I'm not going to tell you.
Where the kids? I can hear something in the background. So.
They're fine. Everybody's right in the back, right there. Just kidding, just Mikey wanted this.
Oh, where is he?
Downstairs waiting for this.
Okay.
Is this okay?
That's good. Yeah, it's great. We're all fine. See, when Grandma's in charge, nobody fights.
Yeah, everybody's in charge. So that's
listen. Not when I'm in charge. Nobody listens to me.
Right.
But see, I told you, they're all
right,
good.
Exactly.
They're all good.
So you mentioned on Twitter recently, and you may have talked about it more since then, and I may have overlooked it, that you are getting ready to play a cop.
Yes, I am.
Talk about that.
It looks like it's going to be, the last I heard, they're going to be doing 6 episodes of the show, but it may change. And it's an elite group of 8 people. It's called Circle of 8, and my character is a badass cop, and I can't wait to play that. And I'm married to one, so I have the best.
So did he help you with that?
Because the thing is, like, when we watch those shows, my husband's always there going, oh, okay, that would never happen. Okay, that would never happen. She's holding the gun the wrong way. He's not doing that. They would never do this. And I think, thank God I have him here to tell me what to do and not to do right. This should be interesting. It should be an interesting training session. I don't think we'll shoot that probably until February or January of next year. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So he'll be a good help.
Not wearing a lot of makeup and kind of being like, tough. Kind of, I love that. I think it's again, when you get to a certain age in your life, you're either going to be a character actress or you've got to start playing these characters, which is much more fun than just being just digging in a lot deeper. So that'll be fun.
Right. Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing that too, and it'll be interesting to see what kinds of tips your husband has for you for that. So.
Oh, I cannot. I'm sure he's going to be great, but they should follow us around for that. There should be a reality camera seeing that display of me shooting a gun. Or oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you definitely need to take videos of all that. You're behind the scenes and prepping for that role, and
I will do so.
Yeah, post it on Twitter.
Sure.
Okay, so let's talk for a minute about the Adventures of Flat Martha. I know that this wasn't your project, but you approved it.
Of course.
What can you tell us about it for those who aren't familiar with it?
Flat Martha is, I mean, those of us who've had children had Flat Stanley. Flat Stanley would show up at different locations, and you take pictures and you bring it back to school, and they send them in the mail. I don't remember, but
yeah.
And then Jamie, aka Turbo Burned, had Flat Martha, which first of all, it's the perfect size. It's kind of goes big enough, and she's always decorated for the holidays. Halloween, 4th of July, buried in the sand at the supermarket in a hole, upside down on the red carpet. Made it to, I don't know if she made it to the Emmys or not. I'm not sure. But you gotta love it. I mean, it just makes me laugh.
It's funny. I've watched some of it, so yeah, Flat Martha in the supermarket.
She gets her hair done, and she's under the dryer, and she has a lot more adventures than I do in real life, which is good. It makes me feel like I'm getting out and doing things.
Yeah, even if you're not, then you have someone there that's a representative of you doing them.
Right. I mean, I think terrible things have been done to her at like the Philly games, or no, the Pirates. Sorry, let me get which team? God forbid I say the wrong team. Pittsburgh. Anybody in Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh has seen a lot of Flat Martha. I think inappropriate things have been done to Flat Martha. She was kidnapped once. She was kidnapped in Philly once. No, it's Pittsburgh. Sorry, Pittsburgh. So she's had her ups and downs, literally. But she's made it through. Haven't seen her in a while. It's time for her to. I
wondered if they were still making new episodes of it, but I don't know. I'll have to look.
Right now, she's probably taking some time off.
Yeah.
Maybe a new outfit. Maybe it's time for a new outfit. But you gotta love Jamie.
Yeah. I'm sure she appreciated that shout out. So
she's the best. Are you kidding? She's the best.
She's really awesome, and she did a great job of getting the word out about this interview today. So yeah.
Yeah,
she was really great at that. Well, that is all of my questions.
I think we covered just about everything.
I think so. I don't know if anyone else has any questions, unless they have forgotten to use the hashtag, because I'm not seeing them.
Well, that's about all I have to say. I think I've covered absolutely everything about from dirt, coffins. I grew tomatoes this year. I'm not a very exciting person in my real life.
That's not true.
No, I mean, there's no scandals. There's nothing dramatic. It's just pretty much what you're looking at here. And I can't. Life is good. Life is good. And I will put up something when I see Elizabeth. I saw her a few weeks ago, and it just wasn't. We were just having such a good talk, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to. First of all, she's not a big fan of the phone. Doesn't like cell phones. Not a fan. Not because she's old. No, that has nothing to do with it. She doesn't like the way people communicate that way. She doesn't like the email. She's she wants to talk to people. She wants to communicate and look at people and have a conversation.
That's really good. That's really good though, because I think that people use the email and the texting and all that as a substitute not to have people, and I think as a result our one-on-one personal communication has suffered.
I agree, and I think that's why I can sit with Liz for hours. I don't need to look at my phone. When I see when I'm with her, I can put my phone in my bag and put it back in when I get in my car, because there's nothing. I don't want to miss a minute. I don't want to miss a beat. I don't want to miss a moment. Like you said, she's getting older, and I'm sorry, Liz, but it's like I cherish time with her, and we're all getting older, so it's not like it's a surprise.
Right.
But I've spent almost 30 years of my life with her, so I again, I cherish that. I cherish those times. So I will see her again next week and and tell her everybody says hello, and she'll be happy.
Right. Yes, please tell her I said hello, and everyone.
I will.
I know that the fans miss her, and I'm including myself in that because, like I said, I was a fan of the show. I grew up on the show, so, you know. Yeah, so, well, it doesn't look like anyone has any other questions, so I think that's a wrap.
Thank you for having me.
Wait. Absolutely, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad that we were able to get this set up.
I know. It takes a while, but it was worth it. Thank you for being interested and talking, and check out the waittheseries.com. Check out my Martha Byrne Facebook page, and I'm trying to keep
on Facebook and Twitter. And
yeah.
Great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming. I know I took a large chunk of your time that you already don't have a lot to give anyway. So
it's quiet, so I'm gonna enjoy the quiet. As soon as I click this is off, all hell's gonna break loose.
Probably.
They're gonna fall out of the closets. They're gonna roll around. There's gonna be things to be thrown, and they were good. They were good. They're somewhere.
Right. Yeah. It was very quiet. So. Yeah, well, thank you so much, and I hope that you'll come back sometime. So
anytime.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.